What's happening, everybody? I'm Steve, and welcome back to Junk Drummer TV. And did that vague title entice you to click on it? Today's video is just kind of like brain droppings, as George Carlin would say. And the subject came up when I was on vacation with Mrs. Junk Drummer for our wedding anniversary. And she was asking me about all the bands I'd been in over the years, and I'd never really listed them out, but we were just in the right headspace to do such things. And then the wheels started turning. We are currently in a state of amazing musicianship. Doesn't it feel like everyone is a virtuoso right now? I know that if you just watch musicians on social media, that can skew your opinion. But I think it's safe to say that musicianship right now in 2023 has never been higher. It's incredible. But I don't see, and I could be wrong, I don't see how that is turning into great bands, and even more importantly than that, great songs. And I've been thinking about my long history of playing music from 17 in high school up until the last gig I played was a few weeks ago. I think that the reason that we're not getting great bands and we're not getting great songs, okay, that's not the right way to put it. We're getting great songs. A song will just kind of come up from the noise and show its head, but we're not getting the next Beatles. We're not getting the next Led Zeppelin. Matter of fact, we're getting like the same Led Zeppelin, and we'll talk about that band later. We're not getting, and I'm not talking about just music in general. I'm specifically talking about bands, people who are occupying the same space, operating their instrument at the same time, writing songs, right? We're not getting great bands, and I have a theory on why we're not. It's because young musicians aren't able to gig all the time. No, I'm going to talk a lot about my journey, as the kids say. And it's just an example of what I'm talking about. My first band was when I was 17 in high school, my senior year, and we played in a very healthy all ages venue scene. There was like 5 or 6 places that we could play, all within about an hour and a half of each other. Those places are gone. Kids who want to play, and man, I've had tons of kids over the years in the age groups of 15 to 17, underage, if you will, who want to play gigs, and there's nowhere for them to do that. And in 1995, I played constantly. I gigged, but between the beginning of my senior year and me graduating in like May of that next year, I probably played 40 gigs at least. You know, sometimes my mom was dropping me off at these gigs, and that is gone. So then I go to college, and I start playing in my Uncle Mike's country cover band. If you are a member of my Patreon, you've heard me tell a few stories about Uncle Mike. He's very important to me in my development as a musician and probably as a man. And when I was in college, I never had to have like a job. I didn't have to work at Wendy's. I played every weekend. Now, I was playing covers in the mid to late 90s. Went to college from 95 to 2000. Yes, it took me 5 years. Get off my back about it. For 2 or 3 years, I played almost every weekend. And every weekend, I was playing 4 45-minute sets. We were playing in what we like to call the dead animal circuit. Moose, elks, VFWs, eagles, and then a lot of like dive bar honky tonks as well. And I was playing, I was doing it. I was operating the drums, and I was playing with good musicians, sometimes great musicians, and I was doing it for 3 hours every night. And I was doing that. Sometimes we would play at this one certain Moose Club. We would play Wednesday through Sunday. We'd play Wednesday through Sunday, 10 to 2, And on Sunday, we'd play a matinee show for the families and the children. So think about all the hours put in there. And I did that for 2 or 3 years. And then my Uncle Mike traded me to a power trio. It's called the Diamondback Band. And yep, it's exactly what you think it would be. And we played Southern rock and like classic rock covers, Cream and ZZ Top and Allman Brothers and all that good stuff. Those same all the same covers that like every cover band does. And same thing with that band. I was playing if there's 52 weekends in the year, I was playing at least 40 of them. At least. And then, hell, even more than that, because we ran every Monday night, we ran an open mic. So I was playing for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours, thousands of hours on stage. And I was gaining institutional knowledge of the history of rock and roll. Now, you can say, oh, you're just playing the same covers everyone else was playing. Or or even more than that, you were just playing country covers. Yeah. But I was also playing the drum parts of some of the greatest drummers of all time. And in the case of the country band, I was playing the drum parts of like the hotshot studio guys in Nashville. So I was learning how to do this. I was also learning how to conduct myself as a professional. How to make sure you're not too fucked up to play the show, to make sure you're on time, make sure you are giving the venue what they are paying you for. And then once I was kind of done with all of that and kind of burned out on just playing covers and sometimes worrying about the health of my person and some of these shady honky tonks and redneck bars that we were playing in, it was time to go play in an original band. And pretty much since about 2002, I've played exclusively in original bands. Now, by the time I got there, I had thousands of hours of experience. And I was also going to music school at the time. So I was learning all of this pedagogy, as they say, of the instrument during the day. And then I was applying it all at night. And once I started playing in that, it was a jam band. If you're a longtime viewer of my channel, you know I've talked about the jam band. I was ready to write my own parts, and I was ready to conduct myself as a semi-professional. Now, what does this have to do with the title of this video? That's gone. It seems like that's gone, and we're seeing the results of it. I'm going to give you 2 instances where this was made very clear to everyone. Now, I know that I've come off as someone who like shits on Greta Van Fleet, and I truly think that band is progressing and aren't just a Led Zeppelin cover band, rip-off band. They'd be a really good Led Zeppelin cover band. It'd be like the best Led Zeppelin cover band. But if you remember, they played on SNL once, and they had been a band for not very long, and it did not come off well. They sounded okay, but they looked scared. They looked uncomfortable, because how couldn't they be? How could they have not been fucking scared? Because you're playing in front of millions of people when you're children and you've not gigged a lot. You could tell that there was not a lot of stage experience on that performance, and it was obvious. And they made 2 records, that EP and the record after that was just them aping Led Zeppelin, and now they've made their way. Lana Del Rey, SNL again, first performance, not great. Not great. She might be an industry plant. That's fine. She's great now. But it was obvious that this lady had not had a lot of experience on stage. She had not played a bunch of gigs. You know who is a good example of this? Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga, Stephanie, has been gigging a long time by the time she was ready to put on that meat dress. Go look, man. I can't remember what her real name is. Stephanie, Italian last name. I think Stephanie's right. Comment section, you can tell me I'm an idiot if I'm wrong. You're watching Lady Gaga, and you're seeing someone who has worked on their craft over and over and over in a live setting, and it shows. She's great. Watch her. She's amazing. And she has, again, institutional knowledge of how to do this shit, and we're not seeing that. Yes, we see all kinds of bands playing on Instagram and sounding good, but look, there's one in particular keeps showing up on my algorithm. That girl, and I'm not going to name them, but that girl's tuned to death. She's not singing in time. The band's fine. They're like some late stage teenagers, but they're not learning how to do this correctly, because you can, when you're recording for content, and let me tell you, I know because I do the same thing. You can do a lot of takes until you do the one that you want to give to the people. Live, can't do that. Like Frank Zappa said, these people paid a ticket, you got to give it to them good. And they don't, and these kids are not learning how to walk that tightrope of, you're in front of them. There's nowhere to hide. There's no Pro Tools. There's no auto-tune. There's no beat doctor. You got to give it to them good. And that muscle is deteriorating in today's players. Now, again, we're seeing everyone play at such a top level. And how would they not? Because these kids have grown up with every music available, every song available, every instructional video available, every how-to available. Man, I remember back in the day, you wanted to learn how to play subdivisions, you just stopped and started the cassette tape over and over and over. Now you can just go watch 75,000 people play it and ape it. People are learning how to be better on their instruments. We're at apex ability on our respective instruments right now. But I'm not seeing it in the songs. I'm just not. I'm not. There's great music out there, obviously, but we're not getting a Fleetwood Mac. And I said Fleetwood Mac for a reason. These bands are not able to develop. Fleetwood Mac, before they were your mom's favorite band, were like a blues band in like 1969 led by Peter Green. And they had a following, but they weren't the biggest band ever for like 8 years. It took them 8 years and a whole bunch of personnel changes until they happened upon the band that every mom will play at their funeral. You know what I'm saying? These bands now don't have that ability, because really, if you're a band that gets like a deal, oh my God, you're a fucking unicorn. You got like one record, maybe two, and if it don't hit, you're out. So many bands over the years did not become the biggest band in the world. So many bands you can go back, well, hey, like 21 Pilots, they have that first record. It's called Regional something, the very first record. And that wasn't Blurry Face. That wasn't when they got huge, but they developed. That's another band that I think that you could say learned their craft live. Now, this video doesn't have any solutions. I don't have any solutions. This is just me commenting on what I think is the reason why we're not getting a new Nirvana. Even if you're just an original band, the pandemic has it feels like, destroyed a good portion of where original bands would tour and play. A lot of those places closed down. Hundreds, maybe thousands of them have closed down. I don't think it bodes well for the future of great songs. And if you watch my channel, you know that's all I care about. I'm a drummer, yes, but my drums are just the thing that I do best to make songs better. And songs are my everything. It's the only thing I care about. And I think we're not getting the best songs that we could get because kids are not able to go and play in front of a crowd. Yes, they're playing in front of a large audience online and getting likes and comments and thumbs and hearts, but they're not playing live without a net and truly learning what it's like to either fly or falter. And that does not bode well for our future of songs. That's a bummer. But what do you all think? Tell me, am I wrong? Are there still songs that are just as great as the ones that's happened from like say 2015 and back? If you think about, that's right around when online music really became MySpace. From MySpace and back, are we getting the same amount of songs that are great? And here's the thing: you can say a song is great, and that's subjective. Tell me the new bands that are as big as Muse and Foo Fighters and whoever else that is selling out. Tool, where are they? And I think the reason why they're not here is because those new musicians are not able to ply their trade in front of a crowd. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.